Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Anya, by the way, in case you were wondering. This is going to be my rendition of The Dark Night of the Soul. Now this may not go for everybody, this may not resonate with you. If it doesn't, this is just my personal research and my personal experience. So I'm just going to share that with you. That way it gives you a good idea of what I went through and what things that you may go through going through this, because once it starts, it doesn't stop for quite some time, and well, it doesn't mellow out. So I'm just going to give it to you in the realest way I can. Alright? This is my interpretation of The Dark Night of the Soul. It's when you get triggered by someone or something that shakes up your entire world and everything that you believe in. It sends you spiraling out of control, and it can last for years, because it has in my case. And a lot of times you'll crash into this phenomenon accidentally. It'll just start happening because, like I said, you cross paths with a certain individual that gives you that flash and that awakening, or you get triggered by a death, someone close to you. I mean, there are so many triggers. Let me get through this brief overview. This is how I wrote it. In my case, it took me in many different directions with many twists and turns, so it was not the same all the way through. And I continuously hurt myself over and over on a massive scale, thinking it was others who were doing this to me. You know, like the victim mentality that you go through during this period is just, it's like, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Well, it's because your soul is trying to get your attention, okay? It's not them, it's you, all right? And you need to realize that, because these triggers will happen over and over and over again until you can recognize them for what they are, okay? I'm not going to go into my own personal journey too much, because it's quite traumatic, and I just I just got out of the hospital, or just went to the hospital Monday for chest pains. So hopefully it hasn't stressed my physical being out too much to where I don't make it another, I say 50 years. I at least want to make 50 more years. See all the new stuff come in. In the 5D and up. Okay? So, what I can tell you, the many years of my life was hell. And trust me when I say I've earned my stripes. I became very at ease, which they call it dis-ease, mentally, spiritually, and physically. So eventually, no matter how you slice that pie, it's all going to come crashing down on you. There's no way around it. So I had my awakening through the pain of many years and really hard to swallow triggers, okay? So, but I'm not saying that everybody's journey is like that. Mine just was particularly different, okay? So not everybody's triggers are going to be the same. Not everybody's awakenings are going to be the same. But you will go through this, and you'll question everything. You just do. And so you begin to do the research, and you begin to study, and you begin to listen to videos like this in order to try to make sense of what is going on in your life. And they can be triggers can be anything in your life experience. A love of a lifetime that is unconditional, or a death of a close loved one. When you feel helpless and cannot do anything about it, but fall to your knees and break down. Pain through love is the trigger. But on the other side of this pain is peace, I can assure you. When you fully grasp and awaken to this, you can spiral into a deep depression. And if you cannot pull yourself out, your whole world feels like it gets ripped away. So, getting in that kind of energy is one thing. Staying in it will destroy you. So, when you get pulled down and you get triggered, the faster you come up, the better off you're going to be. And the faster that you accept it and deal with it and then move on. Period. Alright? And instead of trying to get out of the dark night of the soul, and this is what I see a lot of things happening on the spiritual front and whatnot, is that people are always trying to stay positive no matter what. You know, you can't unless you don't watch TV or go into society and you just sit in your apartment or your house all day long and don't do anything and don't talk to anyone. There's no way around this because it's happening. And the way that evolution is supposed to work is that we are supposed to advance as a species, and the advancement is going to be from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, and it's coming now. So the easier that you get through this and the faster that you can come out as a peaceful, compassionate being on the other side. Because forgiveness is the key in this, guys. I can't explain that to you even any more than that. There's so much forgiveness that I have had to come to terms with. And forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. Forgiving just means you've taken that burden off of yourself and feeling guilty for it. Okay? Forgiving yourself, forgiving other people. It's really, really important to this process. It's difficult. I am not going to play that down. But it's worth it. It really is. Let me finish reading this. Okay. Let's see. Where was I? Then that was what I was saying. You just have to keep fighting and stay on your feet through it. You'll experience shift in your timeline and in your life. And a lot of times you'll lose everyone and everything. This is actually a teacher. And nobody you seem to know sees life the way you do anymore. You end up isolating yourself in seclusion. This can come in the form of an illness, a lost lifestyle, job, etc., or even a death. Your dream time and deja vu become more real. And you start a journey through the soul's essence and origination. So what starts happening is you start doing past life regression in your sleep time, and sometimes even in the middle of the day you will remember something that, or during a conversation it'll just come to you. You'll remember something from a past life, and you've never in this life been there, seen that, done that before. I've regressed a couple of times and talked to people about places that they have been in the past, and I had no idea. So it comes to you in spurts, and you'll recognize it if you're awake enough to see it. All right. It's hard for you to believe in anything you see and hear anymore, and you feel like you've been yanked out of the world that you know. Your spirit's purpose at this point is to find out why. Now, there's a difference between the soul and the spirit, and I want you to understand that as well. And I'll probably have to do a whole separate video on that. But let's just go on forward, okay? in my case, I began to study these subjects in depth. Now, I haven't stopped studying from day one, which has been since 2017. I have not stopped doing research on this stuff, and because, like I said, I'm just one of those people that need to know. That's just my personality. And spirituality and the ascension became a major part of my life, and I'll never be the same because of that. And I want to help other people get through this, because it's not an easy task, but that's what our soul signed up to do this. We picked this job before we got here. All of us on this path. So when your soul tells you, you go. Okay? When your spirit says, your spirit is the one that says, I don't know if I'm going to go or not. But maybe I will. You know, your spirit is you. That's you. It's who you are as a whole. Okay? You'll experience life and death in a whole new way. And once your soul learns all the lessons you are here to learn, it's time for you to cross over a transition. So you never stop learning. You're never really done. As you move through this, it will show you the mirror to your soul and what you need to do to fix or change it. I mean, according to you, though. See, this is where people don't understand. Not according to Joe Schmo down the street, not according to your mom, and not according to your spouse, but according to you. What that mirror shows you about you that makes you you, the authentic you. And when it shows you actually who you really are, that's part of the awakening. And if you don't like what you see, fix the reflection. Okay? And not saying that that's going to happen overnight, because it doesn't. You're going to have to work on it. That's what the dark night of the soul is all about. It's getting back to the authentic you before everything else, the pain, the suffering, the whatever you have had to deal with in your life. Once that part is worked through, you become a different human being. Okay? Alright, let's say your higher self steps in to guide you, which this is my higher self speaking to you, because otherwise it would just be ranting and raving in my head. So I am sharing that with you. Okay? Your higher self kind of guides you in the directions that you need to go. And if let me know in the comments if you'd like a video on that too. So, but it'll push you to know more. This is the higher self's job. It'll push you to know more. It'll push you to know more about your origins, about your past lives, and about the dark night and twin flames and higher self and all that. So while you feel as if you're coming out of the dark night, another chapter of your learning is created. So each time you learn one part of this journey, it opens up another part, just like I've been doing with the other two subjects. Okay, so every time you open up a chapter and finish it, another chapter opens up, which is okay, because it keeps you growing, and that is the whole purpose to this. The dark night kills everything that you thought you understood about yourself. Now, that is a very tough pill to swallow on that one, but it's the truth. A good story analogy is like the Christmas Carol, Ebenezer Scrooge having to see his past present and future, and having to change his ways, or else, that's kind of a good analogy of what the Dark Knight is. You just can't fit it into 2 hours. You'll relive past lives and deaths in dream time, and you will understand the meaning of being a spiritual being in human form. You'll come to realize that you were conditioned in this life to believe things about yourself that were never really true. All your fears, demons, and shadows come to light, and you will remember things that make up who you really are. A scribe, an angelic being, even royalty possibly. And every time you look in the mirror, or into a mirror, or during sleep, you will start to see the truths and the possibilities. All the codons that make up who you are and what you're here to do. Throughout all time and space continuums, it is much like dying while you're still alive. Have you ever heard the term, "my life flashed before my eyes"? This is what people say after near-death experiences. The astral travel, another video, because astral travel is a whole nother subject, which is, it's the travel, it's like when you can see yourself above your body while you sleep, and that happens too. These paranormal and psychic abilities start happening more and more and more as you awaken. Alright? And you see your bodies from a higher perspective. You realize, and then you realize that you, nobody else, are actually the judge, jury, and prosecution of all your past wins and losses. Okay? It's you. Nobody else. Alright? I'm not saying there isn't a God. I'm just saying you're the one that has to do the witnessing. And that's after transition. So, but this is like doing this without dying. You are witnessing all your past regressions, all your past lives, all your past happinesses and joys. Okay? It's happening. Past, present, and future are happening in the now. You can always stop and go back to sleep in the Matrix and keep your handlers. People do it all the time. And handlers are people who tell you what to believe. That's somebody who tells you what to believe, as opposed to using your own intuition and believing what you think is true. Okay? That's the difference. And that way you don't have to take responsibility for any of this yourself. Any of it. You know, you can play the blame game for the rest of your life, have handlers tell you what to do, and that's being asleep in the Matrix. Okay, this is a Matrix. How you come out of it or live in it is up to you. Alright, ultimately, because your thoughts create reality. And that's just, that is just the way it is. So, make sure you have good thoughts and you create a good reality. Alright? Once your awakening happens, you'll not see this Matrix or life, yes, it is very real, in the same way. And going back to sleep sometimes is hardly an option. The dark, well, here we go with me again. The Dark Knight damn near killed my physical body. So I completely understand the difficulty in fully coming online and seeing the truth. It can be scary, hurtful. It can make you feel like you've lost your mind. But when you get to the point of no return, when Alice goes down the rabbit hole so far, nothing in this realm can trigger you anymore. And if it does, it's very minute, and you regroup that quick. You will no longer desire the things that you once did, because you reach a new level of acceptance and freedom. Okay? And then things just start happening. Once Carl Jung put it, the more you resist persists. And the more you resist your destiny, the more your soul is going to knock you on the head until you do. All right? That's just the way it is. The isolation and seclusion are actually a necessary part of this, because you have to sit in this energy alone. Don't stop living, of course. I mean, you'll have to go to work and live your life, but you won't have the desire to be around other people for a while, because you're trying to grasp the concept of your new paradigm first and get your footing. Okay, so the isolation and seclusion are actually a necessary part of this process. You just can't, you know what I'm saying, like quit your job and stuff like that, but you still have to, you know, have your alone time, because it's very important. It gives you time to meditate, it gives you time to sit in your own energy, so you understand where you're coming from, which is a major importance in life. And then you'll realize that you'll want to make the most out of this short existence and not sell out. Example would be having handlers and people who control your destiny. Because the reality of it is, the only thing that is real is love, okay? Is the love you have for yourself, the love you have for others. That's all that's real. Everything else is extra, an illusion, fun, whatever you want to call it, okay? You replace all the things you thought were important with people, places, and things that restore your spirit back into the harmony that it was once at. The evolution of your spirit becomes the journey, and everything you thought was reality will come to the surface to be cleared from your aura or your energy center, and you align yourself with the true purpose, and you will follow what makes your heart full and your mind peaceful. This is the lesson of the Aquarian age. Issues with family, job, and lifestyle will come up to the surface and to be cleared on a soul level. So any disharmony that you have with your family, friends, loved ones, spouses, children, it's all going to come to the surface. And it's all going to be, it's going to be released. It's going to be, so you can clear it, so you can move on to the next chapter. This is how the growing happens. Sometimes it's painful, yes, but unless you're willing to take the time to go through it, you'll walk around with that guilt and resentment and things like that for the rest of your life, and it's so not worth it, guys. It's so not worth it. Let me tell you. I'm not in my 20s, okay? I'm a grandmother, and better late than never, but you understand that the only real thing is love. Love that you have to give and share. It really is. And this is part of the Aquarian changeover from the Piscean slave age to the Aquarian freedom age, you know. Okay, so you understand this is why this is happening to everybody on the planet. And we're, you know, I'm no different than you, you're no different than me. But after this happens to you, you'll feel freer than you ever have. And you'll no longer be affected by the things on the outside of you, as and triggered and you know, all the times that you get upset. You'll no longer feel those, because nobody can disturb your energy anymore. And that's what this journey is about. You wash away karma from all your lifetimes, and it won't be in your what I want to say, your pyramid of light, your body. It won't be in there anymore. you'll release that. Because forgiveness, with that forgiveness and acceptance comes a release that lifts blocks off your back if you're carrying it around. How long this process is going to last is ultimately up to you. The hard part anyway, because like I said, you never stop learning, and the best way to get out of this is to go inside, to go in it, to understand, why am I being triggered? Why am I dealing with this? Why am I hurting like this? To get to your own answers, because that is why you have to kind of isolate and be on your own with this, because nobody's going to answer those questions for you. You have to answer those questions yourself. But this dark night will give you every question so you can find the answer. Because it's gonna break you until you listen. Okay? It's what you want to know, what you want and need to know to find the balance of your masculine and feminine energy, the yin and yang inside yourself. Forgiveness is a key part of this process. If you cannot forgive, you cannot find peace with what is. This is a major lesson of the Dark Night. We all have had bad things happen. But peace is knowing that the ultimate goal of this process is right over the other side. It's right there. You have to forgive. Even if you don't, you don't have to talk to these people anymore. You don't have to deal with these people anymore. But in your soul, in your spirit, you have to forgive and move on. So, because otherwise it becomes a dis-ease in your body. And I'm still clearing, guys. I'm still clearing. It doesn't stop. And after life keeps knocking you in the head, it can get rather exhausting. So you certainly will start to listen after a while. Well, I hope this video helps somebody out there. Know that it's not an easy road, but once you get past the pain, it's worth every minute. It really is. Like I said, I hope this helps somebody. It's the best I can explain it. I had to put my feelings down on the computer, so let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this. And like I said, I'll do more videos in the future on different subjects. You can let me know that in the comments below too if you'd like to know anything about the things that I've mentioned, okay? Until next time, I'm going to try to get these videos done for the week, and I will see you then. Take care. Bye for now.